Are you going to live, Michael? He's not sure.
I was so shocked. Over the first 2 days, we were cursing about. Newlywed couple here, and the girl who never talks. This is like an exclusive.
What advice do you have for these Filipino women if they want to meet a foreigner?
What do you love about this business? Hello everybody, welcome back to Fly Me to the Philippines.
Look who's here. Today we have a special guest from Roxas, That Philippines Life. Michael Smith and Kat are here on our patio overlooking the Cagayan de Oro River.
I got Katherine to even sit up here, so it's like newlywed couple here, and the girl who never talks. This is like an exclusive, okay? This is a new exclusive. That's why we have the ladies here in the middle, because they are the focus.
I think this is like a sign that you are now sitting with a newlywed bride.
Oh. No. Hey,
Did you
now,
catch
now.
the bouquet? Today is the morning after the wedding. It's around 11 a.m. We just left breakfast with about a dozen subscribers.
Yeah.
We're happy to see Michael. You came to the wedding. You flew into CDO. You rented a car. You put out a video last night that talked about your first 2 days in town.
That's right. Now I understand why you recommended it, why you said you got to come and check it out. This is beautiful up here. We were pleasantly surprised by what we saw up here. So yeah, I'm very pleased. We really liked it here once we got up here. Yeah. And wow, what a switch we came from down there going, can't wait to get home, to coming up here and enjoying it.
Across the river, up high on the mountain, maybe 1,000 feet of elevation, at Ultra Winds. What do you think of that place?
Absolutely stunning up there. And you know, having a 4-cylinder car, I was like, wow, I don't know about raining, but that was so steep. And when you get up there, it's so worth it because the view there is just stunning. Yeah. And I loved how they built it so that every spot you're going to, if it's the pool, if it's going to your room, or the pavilion where you had the wedding, everything had a dramatic, beautiful view. Really nice place. It really was.
And Michael, you did something crazy for a YouTube vlogger. You bought a bar.
Yep.
Tell us about that experience.
Yeah, well, that was it was a quick decision. I was offered it, and I just moved to there. So it was
the Canadian Beaver.
2 weeks, yeah. And he said, listen, you know, I don't have time to put into this bar. Do you want to buy it from me? And I said, not really. Well, it's going to be cheap. I'll make it worth your while. You know, with your YouTube, you're going to do fine. And I said, okay. Let's do it. And so that it happened very quickly. And then literally 12 or 13 days later, we opened up and had our grand opening. And it's been a whirlwind since. You know, you learn some things. It takes a lot of time, and you have to put in a great deal of effort into any business. Nothing seems to run for itself, that's for sure. And entrepreneurship is not a hallmark here as it is to the West, you know, sort of thing, where you can find some people that kind of, you make them, you know, put them on incentive package to help run the place, that kind of thing. And we have not been successful in finding somebody that we could do that with, so that I could focus on back to what I love to do, is make videos and do all the traveling. But all in all, though, it's been very successful. Not profitable yet, but clearly close to break even.
So you're right across the street from like a famous resort.
That's right.
What's the name of that?
Well, San Antonio Resort, they kind of own everything in that whole area. Yeah. All the land of all the bars, that kind of thing. And so it's ideally located. Right? It's where all the tourists go all of the time, but it is known as the seafood capital of the Philippines, so everything is a seafood restaurant, and then you have my Canadian Beaver bar and grill right in the middle of it, selling Canadian fare, American fare, and so we stand out a little bit, but it's also kind of going against the tide. And so that's been a little bit of the struggle, is to convince people to come in and have something that's not seafood.
So you own a bar. Now I have to ask you this. Your alcohol consumption before and after?
Less. Far less.
Really?
Almost never drink anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, where if we went to a restaurant or even just go when we're vlogging and we go down to a beach side, let's order a beer and sit here and relax for a minute. Now it's like juice, water. I drink a lot more water now and things like that. And now you're lucky if you see me even a whole week at the bar, once every 3 days have one beer.
Now Roxas has like 12 kilometers of continuous beach.
Even more than that, actually.
Even more. And most of the Philippines turns its back to the ocean because that's where people get drowned and their houses destroyed in typhoons. And all over the Philippines, people live like a half a kilometer from the water on a road that's up 200 feet above the water, it seems. But Roxas, because you're on the opposite side of the typhoons, I guess.
Yeah, well, you're in the bathtub area. So all of the islands kind of point into each other. And so you have this like bay area in the middle there where there's islands all the way around, kind of sheltering that area. They do get typhoons, don't get me wrong. They've had 2 major ones in the last, say, 25 years that have done a tremendous amount of damage. But it was a very undeveloped area. So most things were built of bamboo, that kind of thing. So when you hear 85% destruction, that kind of thing, it wasn't these hotels, it wasn't these concrete structures, it wasn't, you know, so the building is now changing to that. But it's very infrequent. They have to be that big to get in there, basically, right? It's like the one in Cebu in that hidden bohol. And, you know, that enormous one, I think it's the same one, 2019 or something, right? And that one there did a lot of destruction in areas that generally aren't getting hit that way in the inside of the Bay Area of the country. The East Coast gets pummeled all the time, right? So all the way up Siargao, Leyte, all the way up through Luzon, and then it goes up into Taiwan. You watch and you can see those happen through the entire rainy season. So yeah, we're in a good spot, but we're also all sand. So you can walk in the water for a kilometer out, and it might be up to your, you know, high chest level by the time you're a kilometer out in the water, and you're still in sand. No rocks to step on, no shells, no nothing. And so that slope means that we also don't get a lot of flooding or anything like that because it fills so slowly, where if you're on a shoreline where it just crashes up against the rocks all the time, if that waves go up 2 or 3 feet, it literally goes right up over onto the road, right? Well, for us, it would have to fill up very, very slowly, and it would take huge amounts of water to reach the road.
Michael, we've watched your videos and sometimes you featured your business, the Canadian Beaver, and I've noticed that you have Filipinos employees.
Yes.
Right? So what do you think about the Filipinos employees?
Well, we have had some, you know, of course, not everybody has been perfect, right? We've had, say, 15 staff overall, 16, something like that, since we began, not employed at the same period of time, at 13 at the highest. And we've had some really absolutely remarkable employees, but unfortunately they disappear pretty quick because they're also OFWs. So like one worked on a cruise line ship, and he was our head bartender, and he was the head bartender for Carnival Cruises. So of course he's had years of training. He's had, you know, incredible amount of experience, and customers were just absolutely loving him. We were trying to do everything we could to keep him, but you can't compete with what is 135,000 pesos a month he makes on Carnival Cruises. You couldn't possibly pay him that in a restaurant. And so we've had that level of experience in a restaurant. And then we've had others that are brand new, never waited before or anything like that, and then having to bring them up to a certain level and the struggle of it. You know, obviously Filipinos are very hard workers, and they've done pretty well at training on them, but you will find that the motivations that we have in the West and what is here are a little bit different. So because I'm an expat type bar, we do attract a lot of Westerners, and they will tip, right? They're going to tip. And so we would see that as a giant motivator in the West, right? Where it's, you have a great night and the tip out for that night, say, is 3,000 pesos, and there's 5 people working. They made the same as their salary in tips on top of their wage, right? And so I would see, if I were in their shoes, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I gotta work this. That doesn't happen. It's not ingrained in the society here that you work on tips. And it's kind of the positives of the Philippines is that we're not so money driven here in the Philippines, as opposed to the West, where it's all about trying to get that $1 extra, you know, and to buy more materialistic things. Here it's about more time with their family, more time with their friends, that kind of thing, and just making the bills that they need to pay, and then use the rest of the time they have, not making more to get even more money, but to spend more time with their family. And so I have to remember the positive sides of it all and why I love this country so much.
So how about Kat? What do you love about this business? Like, you know, I know that she's also involved with
she's dramatic. I can't do anything in the restaurant, so she is the rock for me, that's for sure.
What do you think you love the most about it?
I love the way the things I manage the staff, and when they have a problem, they call me, they message me, and we fix that. And then I don't like the part that they're going to make a drama.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the part that I hate most. And I love they're doing their all the job.
So you like the fact that it's all Filipinos, that you can talk to them in our own language. You will feel more comfortable than working with foreigners, right? Because actually we are just very comfortable together with our partners, because you're the foreigners that we are having all the time. But if we are in the crowd of foreigners, we feel like more shy.
Mm-hmm.
So having these Filipino employees, it feels for you like more comfortable.
I can talk to other foreigners.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I chat with them sometimes. Yeah, it makes me happy because Mike told me sometimes that, yeah, you can chat with the other foreigners, our customers, ask them how is food going.
Yeah, how the food is, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I heard from our customers good feedback sometimes. And the others is bad.
Yeah, well, and actually learn more from the bad, obviously.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like you don't notice when people have a good time. So most people will not write a positive comment or something like that, right? You will definitely hear from them if they had a bad time. 100% every single time. And so, but they're all opportunities. I see every time you have a situation like that, that's an opportunity to be better and to be able to fix things, because you can't be everywhere. I can't be in the kitchen. I can't be behind the bar. I can't be out in the thing. I can't be everywhere at all times. And so the actual customer feedback is super, super important. And Katherine is the one that usually has to deal with everything.
Yeah, you need to watch them, what's going on in the kitchen, and you need to, if there's a call this problem on food, you need to go inside the kitchen and tell them that, can you fix this? You need to make this good for our customers so that we don't have a problem for our customers.
Exactly.
So let me ask you, Katherine, what's it like being with a foreigner? This is relatively new. 6 months roughly you've been together. Is that about right?
Yeah.
How has your life changed for you and your daughter?
Oh, I have a better life now, actually. And I have Michael. I'm so happy. Yeah, sometimes we have problems, but yeah.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I try to fix. I came to him to fix the problem. So
how
well, the good thing is our problems aren't because we have differences that can't be overcome, that kind of thing. It's all communication.
Yeah.
It's all understanding, right? So it could be cultural, or it could be just language. And it could be like how one person takes the way you said something compared to how, with the language barrier. Yeah. We actually don't have any real problems, because once we figure out what the other person is thinking or what they actually meant behind it, there actually is no problem there. It was totally miscommunication in almost all the cases, or not understanding what, like why they were upset, that kind of thing. There actually is no, like I've been in relationships where we just wanted two different things. Like we don't want the same things out of life. That's really hard to fix no matter how much you communicate, because the more you communicate, the more you realize you're in the wrong place.
Yeah.
That isn't the situation here. It literally is just understanding. Yeah, and that's the hard part with it, right? With almost every relationship, I'm sure that most people would agree, that's where the failure is in all relationships, is miscommunication or lack of communication.
So Katherine, Mike's channel has more Filipino audience than the average YouTube vlogger in the Philippines, because he travels so much around. He shows he gets together with the tourism board, and he's like Mr. Tourism for the Philippines. And so a lot of Filipinos really respond. And a lot of Filipino women are watching that channel too. And I know you broke all their hearts, but what advice do you have for these Filipino women if they want to meet a foreigner?
I will advise you that come to the Beaver and you'll find
they're all there
in our bar.
That's
It's
very
true.
nice.
And
Yeah.
the sad part is they choose to come on the wrong day. So they'll watch and they'll be like, oh my God, I saw on TV there was like all kinds of foreigners at that bar. Let's go. And that night, none of the foreigners will come. And we're like, oh God. So you have to be a little more consistent. You can't just come one night.
Yeah.
Because some nights you come in there and the whole bar is surrounded and they're all going, where's the girls? And then the next day it'll be like the girls saying, where's the guys?
Weekends is better.
Weekends is better.
Weekends.
Yeah,
And Wednesdays.
I am very curious because it's not that you are having a relationship with an expat, but just an expat, but a vlogger. Unlike what happened to us that we're not a vlogger yet, but we decided to vlog. But you met Michael, he's already famous.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't deny that he's already famous.
Yes.
How does it feel like to be in a relationship with a famous vlogger already?
Well,
Did you feel like, the competition is very difficult?
no.
No?
I got to give her credit because like we met and we did the one vlog and then the very next one I'm like with the vice governor like in the video and she's coming around with me and we're the vice governor and then the mayor and then all the councilors and they're all coming over getting pictures with me and we're just chatting and everything and like she didn't get fazed by this in any way, right? Like, but in a small town province, people will be like, how does he know all these people? That kind of thing, right? Yeah. Like it's a little bit shocking, but to her, she's just like,
see, when we're out in public, people go, Chrissy, is that Chrissy?
Yeah, right. Yeah, she's the one that gets noticed, right? Yeah. Well, actually, I think that's what people say about me, too. They see me and they're like, is it? And they go, I only knew it was you because I recognized Kat. Yeah.
So let's switch gears. Katherine and Michael, last night we had 100 people at Ultra Winds Resort. And Chrissy was dressed up like Miss Philippines. Did you see it? Ever seen a dress like that before? Oh,
wow.
Yeah. It's so weird. People don't believe it till they get here. But if you have 3 Filipinas in a room, 2 can sing.
Yeah.
And then we have some of our expat friends who picked up the guitar. What a great voice he had.
Yeah. Well, in the West, at 6 years old, we're not singing karaoke.
Yeah.
How about you, Kat? Do you sing?
I sing, but
I've never heard it.
Oh,
Yeah,
I think you should.
She's still very shy, so we're working on it.
I'm gonna tell you a secret. To make a man really, really fall in love with you more, sing for him.
There are 2 songs that, people say, why would you want to get married? And I say, when I met Chrissy, she made it very clear to me that she wanted to get married. She came from a very religious family and it was her goal to get married. And I said I would, if she turned out to be everything she said she was, and, when we finally met in person, I would pursue that path. And we're a year and a half later and I felt, I need to keep my end of the bargain. But there were 2 songs, and it was Beyonce, Put a Ring on It. Because if you don't put a ring on it, buddy, you don't, that girl could be here today and gone tomorrow. And the other one was Dear Future Husband by Meghan Trainor. If you guys don't know the song, you should play it after the video. We're so excited you came to our house and you got to see Cagayan de Oro. I know you're going to be blogging more.
It was actually a real pleasure. And like I said, after the first 2 days of cursing you, and now I'm absolutely thankful that we actually made it out here. And I got to tell you, the 15, well, not just them, but all the people that showed up to your wedding, they were amazing to meet. And what a breadth of different experiences and professionalism, like different types of people from all kinds of walks of life that attended there. I enjoyed it immensely meeting all of them.
Yeah, nice people. The subscribers that reach out to us as vloggers, the networking, it's I've always encouraged people that, they're watching. There's so many people watching going, could that be me? Could I get my dollar to go 4 times further? Could I meet someone like Katherine? Could I meet someone like Christy? Is it possible? And we're always saying it is. And, the wedding was sort of proof that, a year, 18 months later, you could have 100 people at your wedding.
And I would advise people just to ignore the naysayers that you see online. It doesn't mean that never did anybody ever get in a bad relationship, get married, and it went terrible. Of course not. We all know that there's an understanding there. But you can't go through life thinking worst case scenario on everything, or you were going to never leave your house. So go out, take chances, enjoy life, make calculated risks, of course, and do all those things. But at the end of the day, don't let life pass you by. I saw once somebody was explaining with like a tape measure, but that was paper, right? Like they use for measuring your waist or whatever in a clothing store. And they showed, okay, the average male lives to like 75 or whatever it is. So you cut it at 75, right? And he's like, well, now I'm already this age, right? And he shows like out of this whole thing here, this is how much you have to live. this is all I got left, you know, and that puts it all in perspective that this is what you got left to go out and enjoy every piece of the world. You might live later, you might, you know, all that stuff, but to plan something based on anything above the average life expectancy, you know, is probably not a good idea. So just stick to that. Now, what are you going to fit into that little spot there? And so people are so focused on, well, if I put another 10 years, well, they don't realize that that little piece you have left, you've just cut it down to this. Yeah. And then what's your quality of life left to go and experience these things? You got to get out here and do it. And yeah, you won't be able to do it in the West or anything like that, but here you can do it. It is very, very much possible.
Michael started the channel originally in Boracay and grew it to 150,000 and restarted the channel at 0 about a year ago. December, and has grown it back to 60,000 subscribers. And he was the hardest working vlogger in the Philippines. And he got on a bus with a giant suitcase and off he went. And he goes up to Boracay. He goes up to Baguio and Vigan and down to La Union. And he goes to Bataan. And if you want to see him do travel video, and then he's always out doing charity works with the surgeries for the cleft palates with the army. Yeah. And he's working with the tourism boards. He's got a beautiful Filipina girlfriend. And he now owns a bar in Roxas, which is spelled Roxas. 2 minutes from the airport. There's no excuse. Come see Michael. Watch his channel. Another Fly Me to the Philippines episode.
See you on our next video.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it.